Hi and welcome to Swedish Tennis School. My name is Peter Reimer. You need good returns to break your opponent's serve. You have to put as many returns as possible back into play to force your opponent to play an extra shot. I will show you directionals, the right target area for every return of serve. This idea will help you break your opponent's serve more often. Follow me to the court and I will tell you more. To put your opponent under heavy pressure when serving, you have to make sure you get the return back in play as often as possible. One easy way of thinking is to have the right direction of the return, aiming for the right target area. If you are right-handed and play against a right-hander, you can think like this: forehand to your opponent's forehand and your backhand to your opponent's backhand. If you play against a left-hander or you play with different hands, you need to understand the idea behind directionals. The idea is that you should aim for the right target area of the court so you can still contact the ball late and keep it in play. If your opponent serves wide to your forehand in the deuce court, then you should return cross-court or to the center of the court. If you aim down the line and contact the ball late, the risk is high that you will miss your return wide. If your opponent instead serves to your backhand side, you should in this situation aim for the middle of the court or your opponent's backhand side if he plays right-handed. Once again, if you aim cross-court in this situation and contact the ball late, the risk is high that you will miss your return wide. If you got this, you now understand how to return from the ad court. If you are returning with your backhand from the ad court, you should aim cross-court or in the middle and avoid the down-the-line return. This to cut down on the returns hit wide because of late contact. If you're returning with your forehand from the ad court, you should aim down the line or to the middle of the court and avoid the inside-out return to cut down on returns hit wide because of a late hit. This idea with aiming for the right target area with your returns is extra important when you play against a strong server. Because here you will find yourself in the situation where you hit the ball late, and by using directionals you will cut down on return errors wide. But if you play against an opponent with a weak or not so strong serve, then you can mix your return placement more. So use directionals, especially when your opponent has a strong serve and you want to be sure you get as many returns back into play as possible. To summarize returns and having the right direction, you want to break your opponent's serve as often as possible, and one basic strategy for doing this is to get the ball back into play often. To have the right direction and aiming for the right target is key. If you and your opponent both are right-handed, for example, this is very easy to remember. Play your forehand to your opponent's forehand and backhand to backhand. The idea behind this concept is that you should be able to get the ball back into play despite a late contact. If you find yourself in an outstretched forehand situation when returning from the deuce court, you should in this situation try to return cross-court or to the center of the court. If you instead try to return down the line and make a late contact, the risk is too high that you will miss the return wide. If your opponent instead serves to your backhand in the ad court, you should aim for the down the line return or the return to the middle of the court. This to avoid the return error wide. Returning using directionals will help you get more returns back into play. Using directionals is perfect if you play against a good server that puts you under heavy pressure. But if your opponent is not a strong server, or you have a chance to return a weaker second serve, then you can return with a different strategy in mind. Remember, using directionals can also be a good idea if you are nervous. Use directionals and you will play better tennis.